fire on this amazing planet. Again, this is another conversation when we talk about a hard conversation. I know you guys have missed us. It's been a while since we have had an opportunity to engage. We have been doing some things about resetting. There's some things that's going on that we have to do to re-energize this platform. Uh, we want to kind of revamp it. So we are going into another different area to make sure that we are doing the things and we bringing you content that is respectful and responsible. I first want to open up, always giving love to our community, giving love to our people across the diaspora. It's so important that we are engaging with our people, no matter what part of the world that you're on. We want to make sure that you are a part of the human experience that is engaging in love, humility, and
Flip it the other way. The camera is actually going to be on top. You can turn it that way.
okay, so we in here. We in here. So tell you say when I do what?
Just rotate it.
Rotate it. What, like this?
Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah. So your camera's going to be on top when you put it in here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then I can go ahead and line it. You can get it. Let me see it.
Oh, it's running live, man.
It's
Still running.
okay.
So you want to put it in there like that?
Yeah. Yeah, and then this is the button I was looking for. Okay.
You straight? What do you need to do?
Yeah, you're good. You're good to go.
Really?
Yeah, if you sit back down, I can see you.
Wow. Well,
You're on.
all right. Again, with technology, there's always exciting things that happen. So again, I wanted to reach out and say thank you for Mr. King, our technician. Today, we want to be more disciplined as far as really taking our podcast to the next level. We don't want to be wasting time. We don't want to be on here talking about mess. We want to be talking about solutions. But we're going to be talking about solutions based on facts, historical facts, what we're going to be doing today, tomorrow, and into the future. So again, I definitely want to take this time to thank everyone that get a chance to possibly hear our voice. Again, it's not just me. I want to say our voice. One thing about Black Lives Matter grassroots, Flint, Michigan, there are chapters all over the country. I want to give you a little quick background history again because there has been some changes that happened because Black Lives Matter, the national entity that started with the killing of Trayvon Martin, some established volunteer agents got into the group, stole hundreds of millions of dollars. And that's why we are grassroots popping up all around the country. We are working to sue those people that are charlatans that got into the group and they are working for the enemy. And the enemy is protecting them thus far. Again, I'm Hubert Naeem Roberts. I'm the chairman of Black Lives Matter Grassroots. I want to thank my brother, precious technician here, Brother King, who has dedicated his time to come out and help with this presentation. We want to be making sure that we're going to be disciplined about bringing content that is going to move you. We're going to share information from Clay Kane, Sirius XM FM, Karen Hutter, Dr. Craig Carr, doing some wonderful work. My beautiful sister is a little late as always. We have a young lady that's going to come on, a member of Black Lives Matter Grassroots, Miss D. She's going to join us. And is this process that we are engaging in because we do believe that it's essential that we are consistent. And that's something that is so important when we're living in a society right now, as far as how do we be consistent? How do we be honest? And then we're bringing you content that is going to move you to engage. So right now, I'd like to bring our beautiful sister, Ms. D. She just showed up. This is our young student, our young bad college student, beautiful little sister. We lifting her up, and I'd like for her to introduce herself, share a little bit about who she is, and she's going to be about a part of this conversation. We're going to bring it and toss it to you. You're looking good today. Your hair looking better than mine. I'm jealous.
Hey everyone, my name is Devon CFR. I'm 24 years old. I go to my community college. I'm studying social work because I want to be a social worker and I want to work with foster kids and things of that nature. I also advocate for foster kids.
Now, one thing that we're working to get her to start saying is, I'm going to do. Not that I want to do. We don't believe in trying. You don't try to use the bathroom. You either use the bathroom or you don't. Now, you know when you're about to use the bathroom. You think about it, it depends on if you're number one or number two or number three or number four. I don't know what level of bathroom that you guys use across the world. But just for content with our little sister, we're working to encourage her to affirm it. So when she says, I'm going to be a representative for foster care programming and the help of foster care children. That's what we want her to be able to articulate because when you believe it in your soul, you're not going to let anything stop you from being it. Trust me. When you believe you're going to do it, just like Kobe Bryant, if you read Kobe Bryant's Mamba book, Black Mamba book, or even LeBron James, guys. When you think about doing something 20 and 30 years repetitively over and over again that you believe in, practice make perfect. You can't get around it. So again, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Tell us a little bit about what's going on in your world and what's happening and what's some things you're doing because you're the president of a group proud of what you're doing. Tell us a little bit about your presidency. Tell us a little bit about where do you see and what do you see happening in the foster care community that you can really have an impact.
Yes, so I am the president of MYOY, and MYOY is a group slash community for youth that are in foster care or that have been in foster care. You can also get paid for coming to the meetings. We do events like the Detroit Pistons game every year. We also go to Michigan Adventures. We went to the movies and things like that. So right now I'm working with the coordinator. We're supposed to be planning for it could possibly be at the York Federal Event Center, but we're not for sure yet. But we're doing a basketball tournament versus the caseworkers. And so we're trying to raise money, and we're also trying to bridge the gap of sometimes the negative stigma on the caseworkers, and sometimes the youth thinking that the caseworkers are the bad guys and things like that. So that's really what's going on with the group that I'm involved in.
Oh, good. Those things are good. Now, as far as you, what can you say that you would like from your experience? What can you do to connect those that's in foster care? And how can management or caseworker have a more family orientated relationship?
That's a good question. I feel like as long as we're looking at it like, we're a family situation and like, I'm here to help you and things like that. And it's not just about the money, then, we can see better results. I just want to make sure that all the youth know about this information, that they get what they're supposed to get, because I know sometimes they don't get the proper information, and it could be because of a caseworker. And sometimes if the caseworker doesn't do their job, it could fall back on the MYOY coordinator, and that could be a lot on one person. And so I just want everybody to, play their part in the situation. I want to play my part in it, and as long as everybody's in it for the right reasons, I think that we'll get like positive results.
Now, do you guys have you thought about somewhat re-engineering what you guys do as far as finding how do you guys find those children that's in foster care, especially when you think about the level of abuse and human and child trafficking that takes place? Have you guys thought about a campaign into the schools, into the colleges, door to door, even some kind of when you think about block clubs or a lot of different spaces that a lot of times people don't go to, even in churches, because a lot of times people are suffering in silence. So how do you guys, or have you ever thought about, especially being a young person, and you can recall when you were 10 or 8 or 14 or 15, what you were experiencing and feeling vulnerable, calling out for help, but nobody was hearing you. So have you thought about any ways that you think you can turn some things around, that you guys could really maybe get to some of the people that are suffering in silence?
Well, I want to get into schools, and I do want to tell my story, and I have already like been speaking to people that are like adopting and foster parents and stuff like that. I do different speaking engagements. So another one of my goals is to, talk to high schoolers, maybe middle schoolers and stuff like that, just to let them know that it's okay to speak up if somebody's doing something wrong, because a lot of times, some parents will be like, what goes on in this house stays in this house.
Right.
And that could be dangerous because we've had too many children that have unalived at the hands of their parents. or different family members because they were afraid to say something about them being unsafe.
Yeah, that's beautiful. You know, what do you think that could happen as far as when you think about dollars? We always know that the community is broken because some people politically, a lot of times people want to say, leave politics out. Politics is in every aspect of our life. When you got here, you had to drive down a street that was politically designed to be made for you to drive down the street. You had to put seatbelt on. You had to put gas in. All that's political. Because a lot of times they want to lie and say, leave politics out. So my biggest question to you, especially being a young person, and because I think that's so vital, have you thought or connected across the country as far as different other communities? Have you went to in other communities that has the program you just mentioned to see what kind of work they're doing? Have you been to Detroit, Grand Rapids, up north? Have you reached out to different other foster care entities to see some of the best case work that they're doing to maybe model some things or mix it up or shake it up where you are being able to uh, uh, capture or save a lot of people that are suffering in silence?
No, I haven't done that. Usually, like when I meet different people, it's like in person, or sometimes like I talk to people on Facebook because they have like different like foster care like alumni support groups and stuff like that.
Now, something, tell us a little bit about the foster care alumni group. Now, is that like a fraternity?
No, it's not like a fraternity. It's just like a support group
Mm.
where it could be anybody like from anywhere,
In the world?
Yeah, anywhere in
Really?
the world. Yeah, and like we just send different links, or if they like
Wow.
some there's like different podcasts out there that like interview people that have been in foster care and stuff
Really?
like that. So we just basically like connect and talk.
So since you've experienced that, how has that been? And have you met some interesting people around the world or around the country?
Yeah, it's been great, honestly, because when I was in foster care, I wasn't really aware that there were as many other people as I know now that were in foster care because
Wow.
I didn't start telling my story until I was grown. When I was in high school and middle school and I was going through these things, I wasn't going around telling people that.
And why not?
I mean, I didn't really have a specific, I don't know, I just didn't talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was you afraid?
I don't think it was that I was afraid. It just wasn't like the first thing, like, oh, let me tell people that, that about me. But
No, you saying since you say you didn't lead with that, but I'm just saying, were you suffering in silence?
I think in the way of like, I didn't understand, like, completely like the whole situation. And I couldn't like really relate to everybody else because it's like most people that I went to school with, they were with their parents, and I'm living with my aunt or whoever it was at the time.
So, in the process of understanding, when did you first understand, or how do you relate right now as a young person, 24 years old? So, how have you dealt with therapy? How have you rebuilt yourself? Or have you always felt good about yourself? Meaning, even being in foster care, did you feel abandoned? Did you feel unloved? And for our audience, how have you worked to heal yourself, or are you still in the process of healing yourself? Because I think many listeners or many people in our community, when you think about foster care, and if you think about the history of this country, the history of or the experience of Black people in this country has been total foster care because we were stolen property. We were stolen people from another country. So we were raped, pillaged, and brought to a foreign land. And many of us were stolen, were sold, and bred and killed by the white community. So I know that's a big question. So I'm asking you, how did you experience feeling that maybe you weren't loved by your parents? And then how did you develop the sense of loving yourself to the person that we see here today? Now, I'm preferring that community. I've asked her to wear a dress so many times It's amazing that your sister will not wear one. I am very upset. But we're trying to work on her. So people that's listening, I'm hoping you guys can encourage her maybe one day a week to wear a dress. She don't have to wear it for me, but just as a young lady. But go ahead, answer the question. Not the dress question.
Okay.
Loving yourself.
All right. So I feel like I really did have to teach that to myself because me understanding, why I was in the situations that I was in, it wasn't my fault, it was because people weren't making the best decisions on my behalf and on my life. And
And now for our audience, how did you, as a 8-year-old or 10-year-old, what lens was telling you that people were not making the best decision for you? What lens did you have to gauge at a young age?
I mean, it was just a lot of things in my environment that was going on that I was just picking up on. I'm just like, this is like, it's not okay and it's not right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like, what you want to call it, if it was discernment or what. But,
Well, we can call it discernment. No, because that's God. But go ahead.
but I just knew that
It wasn't right.
Yeah, I just knew it wasn't right.
Okay.
It wasn't okay.
Okay.
So.
But even in that, again, I'm getting back, and I don't want to challenge you, but I want you to bring it up because I think it's good for our audience to know as a young person, because a lot of young person are people and older people going to hear this. And a lot of people are suffering in silence.
Mm.
And what I'm saying, and I'm hoping that you can give them some tools to be bold, to be honest about knowing that this is not right. I don't deserve to be mistreated. And there are some tools that I need to use where I can advocate for myself. So don't mean to pressure you on it. And I don't want you to shy away because I think you shy. I'm working to break that out of you. I don't know why but we working on it. But go ahead.
Well, I would just start off with like speaking up for yourself. Okay. And like keep if there's something going on at home, like keep saying something to somebody. Maybe it's a teacher or a peer or an adult that you're around, and just keep saying something until somebody listens. And like don't make anybody, even if it's your parents, make you feel bad for speaking up for yourself at the end of the day, because nobody should be able to just do any and everything to you, even if it's your parents and things like that. So I would say, like, speak up for yourself. And if you have to report it, to somebody or the school or a counselor, then do that. Because at the end of the day, like, you don't want to be put in a situation where it's like, dang, I should have said something, and then your life is in danger.
And I believe that's beautiful what you said, Ms. B, is how do we encourage the listening audience or someone that may hear this, that they have a voice? That if it's a parent, a mother, or a father, a lot of times with moms and dads, as you just said, whatever goes on in this house, you better not say nothing to no one else, even in the face of abuse. And how, again, we want to be able to encourage and motivate our audience or someone that may hear this today, tomorrow, or anytime. We want to be able to give them some tools where they can, and I want you to look in the camera because, first of all, we want them to first love themselves. So I need you to tell someone that may hear your voice how they should love themselves.
Okay. Well, some things that I do to love myself, I go into nature, I meditate, I do yoga, I journal, I do affirmations and things like that. And I also go to therapy. So those are a lot of the things that I do to love myself.
Okay. And in the process of therapy, and so many people have this misnomer about therapy, and as a young person, how has therapy helped you?
Therapy has helped me a lot. I feel like honestly, my therapist is the only one that really actually listens to me and stuff.
Why do you say that?
Because I just feel like a lot of the stuff like that I've been through when I spoke about certain things, adults weren't necessarily listening to me.
Really? So is your therapy male or female?
She's female.
Okay. And so when you And I saw that you laughed a little bit, and I love that because that shows a connection, a genuine human connection that you and her have.
Yeah.
And I believe that. But as you just said about being able to feel free and unjudged,
Yeah.
to be able to speak truth, right?
Yeah.
Right. And then when you speak truth, how do you process your truth? What does truth look like to you at 24 years old? You missed deep, you've been through some things, and how do you see truth today and maybe 5 years from now?
I see truth as just learning from the mistakes of other people and learning from, your parents, not like repeating the same things that they did. You don't want to continue those things. You want to be better and do differently. So like surround yourself with people that you want to be like, and stuff like that. I feel like that could help in everything because that's what I do, and just like continue to be positive and stuff.
Okay, and so I want to somewhat lean back a little bit on your therapist. So, in the process of when do you know, as far as in therapy, what works and what don't work with you?
I mean, I'll tell her, hey, like I didn't really like, your response to this, or, maybe I tried this and it didn't really work. But for the most part, like she supports me spiritually, what I'm doing, and me like connecting with nature and things like that. So I haven't really had that problem. I think.
Okay, now, how have you worked? And I'm hoping it's not a disrespectful question. So, and our audience needs to know because there's a process, because there has to be healing.
Yeah.
So, in the process of how do you heal with those individuals that caused you pain? So, I mean, your mom and your dad is the central, and even your brothers and sisters. So, again, for our audience, how has the process been for you being able to heal? And then, are you honest about the parents or your parents having some maybe mental illness? And I'm just being honest.
No, yeah.
Because a lot of time when we think about foster care, if we think about what's happening in our society, and let me preface it like this, community. Most everybody in the world needs therapy. Let me start there. And let's say for a conversation around the United States, most everyone in the United States needs extensive therapy for a year or two. Everybody in this country needs some real extensive. I mean, everybody in this country need not work, but focus on, as you said, nature. But just step back, step down, don't do anything. I think COVID was a missed opportunity because COVID could have provided opportunity for communities and people to really start getting involved with themselves, to really look at some of their core ideologies or ideology about who am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose? So I just want to throw that out there because when I'm asking you about how do you have a conversation now with your parents, what does that look like? How have you worked to heal? How do you call and talk to someone that may have hurt you? What does that look like? And again, I don't want to disrespect you.
No.
I just want to be true because if you're saying your therapist is allowing you to journal and ask the hard question about how do you feel safe, how do Miss D grow, feel powerful, and also at the same time being able to love differently today. I know that was a big question, but I'm hoping you didn't miss it. Did you miss it?
No.
Okay, I'm just teasing.
So I would just say, like, there's situations where you have to separate yourself from your family because your family is not always the best, for you. And I think that's what has helped me a lot is separating myself from them and just being around people that, love me and actually, care about me and stuff.
Now, I understand the separation, but still they are your family. So with your therapist, have there been an effort to redirect and build a new relationship with your mom and dad, or not?
I mean, that really wouldn't have nothing to do with the therapist. That would be on me. But I have decided not to do that for a lot of very good reasons.
Okay, okay. And how do you feel about your mom and dad? What is the relationship in your mind?
Mhm.
Although you're saying that you stepped away and are choosing to disassociate yourself with your mom and dad, but you still part of a family, meaning you have grandparents and brothers and sisters. I'm sure you haven't separated from them. Your brothers and sisters, right?
I have sisters, but I don't really have this relationship with
Okay. Grandparents?
I only have grandparents on my dad's side.
Have you separated yourself from them?
I do talk to them sometimes when I go, but I don't really visit them.
Okay. So again, now thank you for that. That's very important because again, there again is a choice. When you think about what is a person's, and you do you recommend that when you said you separate yourself, is that important for a person that's working to recover from being abused, being neglected, and dealing with child and being in foster care?
I mean, it just depends on the situation. Like my situation is different because it's like with my mom, she basically tried to unalive me. And so she has never taken accountability for that. She's
Okay.
not gotten the help. So for me, it's like if you're not gonna change, then there's no point of me having a relationship with you.
Okay. Wow. And do your parents still live in Flint or live in?
My mom, she still lives in Grand Blanc,
Okay.
and my dad, he's somewhere in Detroit and stuff like that. But I don't really talk to much.
Have any of them ever tried to reach out to you?
When my mom has reached out to me, it was always like negative stuff.
Okay.
So
Okay. Well, again, guys, on with hard conversation, guys, we're going to be having hard, candid conversations dealing with everything ranging from health, because a lot of times we don't talk about health, men nor women, as far as black men, making sure that we're getting our prostate checked early. I'm dealing with prostate cancer. I'm also a cancer survivor. I'm also a survivor from, I've had brain surgeries. They gave me 3.5 years to live 25 years ago. And again, you see me today. And again, it wasn't easy. And we want to transition right now with our beautiful sister here. And we want her to talk about resources. We want her to focus really on resources. How do people get connected to resources dealing with foster care, dealing with anything that's challenging in their lives? What level of resources that are out there? How do they access resources? Is there resources out there for individuals that are suffering in silence, that don't know how to get the help? How do you ask for help? How do you find resources, sister?
well,
Miss D, I'm sorry.
if you are in foster care, you should be able to get in contact with your caseworker and they should be able to tell you about all these programs that I have talked about. But if you cannot get in contact with your caseworker, you can also contact the MYOI coordinator. I don't know her number by heart, but her name is Amanda Bigelow. And yeah, that's how you can.
Now, when you mention about Amanda, I need you to break down a little better where, you know, you said somewhat broadly about resources, but, kind of go through the list of some of the resources you've been able to receive. That way, it'll give the audience a more table, meaning when a lot of time when we have conversation, people be wanting more detail because they don't really understand.
Okay.
But if you can give a little bit more clarity as far as what resources you've received, what is the title of those resources, What does the resources do? Is there a cutoff date for the resources? I mean, they really need to know. I think that might help our audience. And in the future, it's very important that you have numbers or websites for our individuals that may view this that they can contact. And when we close out, I want you to be able to give some contact information for those that may be suffering silence. So go down the list about resources that because that's something you know about.
Okay.
You've experienced ability to access some resources that have helped you. You can really talk about those and then others that you may know about. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I know you can get YIT funds, and I think you can get those starting at 14. And so
what is YIT?
YIT, I'm not really sure what it stands for. I just know that's what the fund is called.
Mm-hmm.
But it's basically you can get a car for $5,000. You can get like extracurricular activities paid for. Like I was at a dance studio in high school. It's a local dance studio. It's called Heart of Worship Dance Studio. And I was able to dance at the studio and get it paid for through these funds through the state. You can also get a laptop. You can get, I think you get clothes too with YIT funds. That's all I know. Oh, youth in transition. They also have like cooking classes, like life skill programs. When you get an apartment, you can get like startup good money for like furniture, like a bed, things like that. Um, that's what we got.
Okay, so again, and what is so important, and I'm glad that you shared a little bit of that information. I think moving into the future, we definitely want you to be more encouraged in making sure that you know what these programs, especially when you have an acronym, is going to be good that you can, spell it out for them, having contact numbers for these, different programs, even when you're saying youth in transition, because a lot of times, children may, because of the access of social media, may stumble upon this interview. And it may be something that you may say that could spark the mind of another child or another person that's suffering in silence, and you gave them a number to call. And that might could change and impact their lives. See, so I want you in the future to make sure that when you are engaging and sharing information, that you have like a nice amount of information that you can share back up with understanding what the act like YIT, tell them what that's about, and then a possible number for contact. Because again, as opposed to a person that's suffering, may be afraid, maybe shy, but if you gave them a little bit of information, that might be able to change their life or save their life. So I just want to give you the advice, keep that in mind. Now, do that make sense to you?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to beat you up, put you on the spot. Yeah. I'm just, again, part of our conversation is around how do we help to encourage one another? How do we build a foundation where we're giving honest information, positive information, and information that can change your life? See, that's what our program is about. Our program is about hard conversation. In having hard conversation, we're not saying we're victims. We're victorious. You victorious. I'm proud that you're in our life, right? Because again, me as an older person, I'm able to draw some energy from you to allow me not to give up. See, a lot of times is you don't realize I'm vested in you because you're younger than me. And so your winning is part of me winning. And I want to give you as much as me. I'm older than you. I want to give you, and I'm from being a male, I want to give as much as I can to you as a father or an uncle or a big brother. That way, When I'm dead and gone, you can say Mr. Roberts, Mr. Robinson, Mr. King, gave you some power that you can share with other people, man. Because we're not here to just simply keep everything to ourselves. You're supposed to be studying us. You around this office, you're supposed to study how we move. You're supposed to talk to us and get a man and a male perspective in how you're dealing with the bigger world. Because you're going to be dealing with men and women all for the rest of your life, right? Yeah. And one thing that I'm pushing you is I like to throw you out there in the pond where you suffering with no water out there because you want to be shy. You want to hide. I don't want you hide. I want you out there. And so I'm gonna be pushing you. But anyway, so I think that it's so important. And we want to tell you right now how proud we are of you. We really think you're an amazing young lady. All the things that you are doing right now, you're going to change many people's lives, right? And all of Mr. King and all of us, we're just going to continue to lift you up and be excited to be a part of your life and what God has for you. I'm just looking forward to all of the many great things that you're going to do and all the great things you're going to teach us. Because there's so much you're going to teach us. And we're not too stubborn where we're not willing to learn from you. So that's a beautiful thing. But you got to come outside the shadow sometime. You can't keep hiding behind your beautiful, beautiful locks. I'm jealous because you got hair and I don't. Sometimes I see you, I want to cut your hair off. My feelings hurt, glue it on my head. My feelings be hurt. Anyway, so again, guys, this is part of our also ongoing conversation is around, how do we look at ourselves historically as Black and brown people and not disrespecting any other culture. And I need us to be clear about that. The whole construct of us loving ourselves as Black Americans is not to demonize anybody else, guys. So often that's what the media want to put out, and other people want to say, you know what I mean? When you talk about anything Black, it always has to be compartmentalized. That's a lie. We should love ourselves about being Black, but we need to tell the truth about this country that has been denying us from day one any opportunities. We have had to fight. Jesse Jackson just died, 84 years old. And there's people on the internet disparaging his name. It's unacceptable, but that's what we do. A lot of times, we as Black and brown people do some ugly things to one another. At one time in this country, we called each other brothers and sisters. We did not use the N word. We did not use the B word. We were not running around with pink and red hair. Who wear pink and red hair? It's insane. Who wear eyelashes that look like brooms? Come on, y'all. And I love our sisters, but who put on eyelashes that's all the way out here? And you don't have to walk around half naked. Our young men, it's unacceptable, some of y'all behavior, young men. You can be seen with not showing your underwear in your butt. You don't have to wear chains. If you understood the nature and the disrespect you guys are perpetrating, having gold and diamonds on your body, gawking like that, where most of the diamonds and gold come from, those countries do not own their own minerals that's coming out of their ground that you have on your body. And again, with branding, I want you young people, stop using the terminology, I'm a brand, I'm a brand, I'm a brand. You are not a brand because they branded us. They branded us when we came to this market. Stop saying I'm a brand. You are an entrepreneur, but you're not a brand. See, that's that back to being colonizing your mentality. We are reinterpreting our enslavers or our so-called masters' behavior, ideology that they put on us. You guys got to stop that. And we got to call you out on it. Because there are 19 marijuana dispensaries in Genesee County. that cannot put their money in no bank or credit union. They have fluid cash every day, and they don't put a dime back into our community. And not one marijuana dispensary in Genesee County is owned and operated by a Black person. You got Chaldeans, you got Muslims, you got whites, you got all these other people owning this lucrative business that's the Michigan government is going to make this year $3.3 billion off of marijuana. And we're not getting a dime of that in our community. Black Lives Matter grassroots not getting a dime. Now, to me, you Black people that may listen to this, why can't we open up a marijuana dispensary ourselves where we all shop? Since we want to smoke weed, let's own it ourselves. Let's own our own gas station, guys. Let's own our own liquor store. Everybody in this room, y'all gonna go to some business that doesn't look like you and give them your money. That's the problem of our community. I know y'all don't want to hear it. I know y'all want to deal with the clear people. I know you think that the clear people waters and food or clothing is better than your own. That's why you got Louis Vuitton. That's why you wear Coach. That's why you do all these other things. And you guys give money to people that hate you. Y'all give money to people that is providing for the legacy of their children and their children. That's what y'all do. Black people have $2 trillion and have access to $2 trillion a year. All 100% of that money go back to somebody else. That's our fault. You can't blame no white person. Just like the city of Flint that we live in, guys, we can blame the leadership of Flint, Michigan for poisoning us, for the education system, for no jobs in this community. We can blame the leadership. And we can blame all of us because why do we support people that's running for the city council seat, the state rep? All these seats are open up for this year's election. Everybody should be looking at what people have done while they have been in office. That's how you tell and address your candidate. You need to be educated voters to vote for your community that's going to repair the brokenness in your community. We got a prosecutor that's been a prosecutor for 1,000 years, locking up Black and brown people. And every time election come around, they go to these Black Negro churches. These churches, all of them need to be burned down. Yeah, I said it. Because they ain't doing nothing in our community. They're not providing no resources. We had several people freeze to death because not one Black church would open their doors. McCree Theater wouldn't open up their doors because they got a cutoff for these homeless shelters. You have to be in by a certain time or you have to be out sleeping under the bridge or down there on Hamilton Street. People sleep up under the bridge down on Hamilton Street. Downtown, they're sleeping in the parking lot structures. Tell me about our community. And then many of you guys, Black, brown, and all y'all guys want to talk about, y'all live in the suburb, y'all got all this going on. Y'all open up brag about on Facebook, brag about a restaurant, go to this restaurant, and people can't eat. A lot of people are living, there's 47% people in Flint, Michigan that are in the poverty, living in poverty. There are over 40,000 men and women in Flint, Michigan with a felony. 40,000. People in Flint, Michigan want to work. They getting ready to bring a plant to Mundy Township. Not Flint. And the process of city council and the mayor's office is to bring businesses and opportunities to a city. They spend their time fighting. And then if you criticize a council person, then they got to get mad at you. Why shouldn't I be able to criticize you for your voting record? How do we not have a ethics and accountability department or an ombudsman office in Flint, Michigan? The leadership downtown in Flint, Michigan is a legal operation, just like at the federal government level. There's no checks and balances. They are doing the police, the state police in here, killing us. The city police, most of these city police are white. They had a funeral today for an officer that committed suicide in the parking lot of the Trinity Church out there in Mount Morris. They had a funeral today for a police officer that committed suicide. Sink that in for a minute. And if you look at the record of that police officer that committed suicide, it's appalling. They want to glorify him. If you look at Mayor Neely that fired the fire chief, for the fire chief that fired the firemen that neglected those two boys that burnt up in that house that they didn't see, tell me about a city. You ain't got to lie on the mayor. You ain't got to lie on the city council person that is giving a mayor. And if you drive down the streets in this city, they are appalling. And the number one job of the mayor and the city council is to protect the residents. Our community was poisoned. They want to give us $1,000. And most of us got a $5,000 water bill. Y'all make that make sense. When they talk about cutting taxes, the Republicans, white people always talk about taxes, taxes, taxes. Taxes, we have a system in America that is based on taxes. Taxes is a pool of money that goes into a municipality to take care of everything in the city. When you think about lights and garbage and all those things that has to be taken care of in a city for a city to run, y'all. You got to put in to get out. I don't care how rich you are, you got to drive on the city street. You got to use different public services. But we have a community that feel they don't have to pay no taxes and still think that they can get all the benefits in a community or in a country without paying taxes. Y'all, that's a lie. Even when you think about this evil person in office right now that has put tariffs. Tariffs is a tax, y'all. Do you know the tax base at one time in this country where the rich or the business had to pay at least 30 or 45% tax base to the country for the country to run smoothly? Now you have the 1% on all the money and don't want to give money to no one else. But they still want all the benefits, but they want to keep all the money to themselves. That's evil, guys. And again, you want to get mad at me or get mad at Black Lives Matter grassroots having a community conversation around how do we repair the brokenness in our community. Not hating you because you look like me and your politics don't align with me, because you have a right to engage in any politics that you want. But when your politics are directly affecting me and my family and my legacy and this beautiful sister here and Mr. King and Mr. Robinson and our children, then I think we should have a problem somewhere there. Because just like Jesse Jackson, they want to talk about Jesse Jackson's speech at the Democratic Convention. But Jesse Jackson engaged in Operation Breadbasket that was amazing. He developed Operation Breadbasket off the principles of the Black Panthers. That's why everything is connected, y'all. Do you think Head Start was an offshoot of the Black Panther? The feeding program where you feed children in school, that come from the Black Panthers, y'all. That comes from human beings caring about the poor. And we have a society that celebrates the rich and demonize the poor. And the rich develop laws, policies, and procedures to keep people poor. And I don't care how much knowledge you got. Look what they did to President Barack Obama and his wife. Donald Trump and them put a monkey. They had a AI or something where President Barack Obama and his wife was the image of monkeys. This is what your leader does. Right now, you have ICE agents around this country that are Proud Boys or they are white supremacists that have been unleashed in this country. And I'm an advocate of killing them. And I'm not ashamed to say it. You can say what you want to say. But how do you shoot somebody? They shot that lady in the face. They shot that man in the back 10 times. And they should be able to get away with that? They killed Rayvon Shaheed. The state police came into Flint, Michigan on Pasadena and ML King and shot a black boy. It was getting ready to graduate. And those officers are still able to keep their jobs and kill again. See, white people, and if you look at their history, they enjoy killing us. It's a sport to them. They can kill us and go home and have sex with their wives or their sons and daughters and eat all kind of food. They kill us and they laugh about it. When Kobe Bryant helicopter crashed, do y'all know the police, the sheriff out there in California took pictures of his destroyed bodies, him and his daughter, and circulated around and laughed at it around the police department. That's what white people do. But we don't want to have that kind. I'm a hater when I bring that up. I'm a hater. I hate white people when I tell the truth about what white people have done to us in this country. I'm a hater. But at every level in this country, white people have shown us who they are. Charles Stewart Mott said in 1937, 36, kill all of those people in the hole, Chevy in the hole. Charles Stewart Mott was the president of General Motors when it was the sit-down strike. He said, kill all them people in my factory because I'm bringing in scab labor to keep these automobiles running. Because Charles Stewart Mott didn't care nothing about the union. He wanted to get those automobiles made. He didn't care nothing about the UAW because capitalists don't care anything about the condition of their workers. They want to work you to death. That's the origin of this country. This country where people were here for thousands of years, the Native Americans were raped, pillaged, and murdered. And many of them today are on reservations. Where we sitting right now, this used to be Chippewa. Chippewa, I can't think of the other Native Americans. 5 nations that was here before these Europeans took this area here. Winnebagos, Chippewa. Man, forgive me, guys. That's terrible. Bad person, bad host. I'm supposed to know those. I had them, but I got a lot of it in my mind right now. But I always want to respect our First Nation people. And I bring that up because so often, you know, we're dealing with this Project 2025 and white supremacy on steroids. And many of us that deal with white people on a daily basis, and I'm saying, I believe that there are some amazing white people. John Brown. If y'all know who John Brown is, some of you guys know who John Brown is. John Brown believed in the dignity of all human beings. And he gave his life to end slavery. That's who John Brown is. John Brown so bad that Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass said, no, white man, we love you, but we ain't going to Harper's Ferry because we know that's a setup. But John Brown hollered at him and said, listen here, I'm going down here, I'm taking over the arsenal, and we getting ready to end slavery because we see these white people ain't playing. They do not want to end slavery because even the North, most people don't realize, the North had more people enslaved than the South. They don't want to have that conversation, y'all. There was more people enslaved in New York. Get this. There was more people enslaved in New York back in 1850, back in 1860. Don't get it twisted. The Wall Street, all that Dow BS. The first commodity sold on the New York Stock Exchange was what? A black body. That's the first commodity. Not no tea, not no coffee, not no gold, not no oil. It was a black person. It was a black naked woman. They don't even have the dignity to put clothes on them. So again, guys, I know it's hard for you guys to want to have this conversation. And again, I got proof. What they did to my truck, prior to me getting a divorce with my wife, was they came in our yard and destroyed my truck because I stand for black and brown people. My wife wasn't with it. Unacceptable. All the FBI, they asked me, what did I do? The FBI, they didn't put KKK and Nazi all flat my tires. My tires on my truck cost $1,500. And then got the nerve when I get new tires, I'm driving my truck with all this stuff on my truck that these white people put on my truck. And the state police stopped me and say, sir, you didn't see it? I said, yeah, man, why are you stopping me? Because your truck got all KKK and Nazis. I said, yeah, your people he said, will follow me out to the post out here on Corona Road so we can remove it. I said, no, are you not? I said, no, sir. I said, can I go? Are you arresting me? He said, no, I ain't arresting you. I said, well, have a good day. Because I lived up it was for my family. My family was mad at me because I was going to leave it on there. I was going to leave it on the driver like, this is what you white people do. So, again, I want to make sure, guys, that we're clear. It's not about hating anyone. It's about choosing to love, look in the mirror and love yourself. Because we've been taught to hate what we see in the mirror. And one of our jobs in hard conversation is to teach you how to love yourself again. Is teach you how to repair the brokenness in our community and in our families. To teach us how we can build our new Black Wall Street. To encourage us to boycott everything. I believe we need to boycott everything. I think it was appalling to support the NFL. I believe the NFL stands for Negroes for Lease. Y'all get that? Negroes for Lease. NFL. I haven't watched sports since Colin Kaepernick. I'm part of some groups, fraternity groups, and they get mad at me, and I turn my back. I have to do certain things, and they feel uncomfortable. Sometimes I don't go now, because they said that I make them uncomfortable with my back turned to the television while they're enjoying this idiocy on television. But I'm proud to be Black. I'm going to be Black until I die. And I am part of Lucy 4.5 million years ago. It's the oldest bones that ever been discovered by Homo sapiens. So all this thing about superiority and all this foolishness about who's smart and who's dumb and who's privileged and who's not, all that is a game, y'all. That's been a game invented by white people. It's been invented by white people. All this Western capitalism is why are we so sick? Why are we so sick in this country is because of the food that we eat. I was in Ghana last year, going back this year. They don't have no candy over in Ghana. I love Hershey almonds. They don't have none of that, y'all. No bubble gum. They don't fresh food. They don't have no stores where you go and preserve. They don't do that. We went and got mangoes off the trees, bananas off the trees, y'all. I don't know what it was tripping, man. I got animals following me. I don't know what it was, but they was laughing at me. People were talking to me and God, this language over there. And brothers and sisters, I mean, they darker than, we are, because we the cursed with white blood in us. But man, they just took to me because I'm out 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning just chilling. I can't see nobody until they open their mouth, right? But I'm cool with everybody, right? I'm just hanging out, man. They like, and then I'm trying to pick up a little language, you know what I mean? They saying, who's American? Who? Where you come from? And I'm like, come from America, but I'm your brother. Coming back home, they say, come home. We will come home. Will you come with us? Mm-hmm. So they brought me into their house and all that kind of stuff. Man, we sitting with grandparents and chilling. The sister had this thing, and I was gonna go help her with it. My man said, no. Leave her alone. She doing what she do, right? You just sit down. You just man your business. Because they invited us into their home, right? And see, that's another thing being American, right? We want to, I had to learn to just sit back and they are a people that are unabashedly who they are. And I had to remove myself and stop being aggressive and I can say it like this. They move like jazz. If y'all understand what jazz is, that's how people, Canadians, that's how they move. They move smooth. They are on their own time. Like they told us, if you in a hurry, maybe you shouldn't be in our country because we eat breakfast or we eat whenever we want to. We don't have no set schedule. Mm-hmm. They ain't dealing with no set schedule. You know what I mean? So again, I do want to encourage all of us to go back home to Africa. I know you're afraid to because you're white. I know you're afraid to because you're psychologically white because it irks me when I hear Black people talking about Paris and London and all that insanity. Because when you go to them countries, them people hate you. But when we was over in Ghana, man, it was just like, my whole body just, I didn't see not one white person for 12 days. Y'all just don't know, man. I saw a policeman, but they looked like they was like, hey, what's up? They was like, what's up? I'm like, and man, over there, man, they moving. We was in the car, man. I thought I was on a roller coaster because I was scared, right? They was moving so fast, man. I'm in the car, man. The guy they close, man. The women was out with the things on their head, man. Selling stuff, man. And the thing weighed 50 pounds because I put it on my head. You know me. I had to rock with the people, you know what I mean? They said, you want to do that? I said, yeah, man, let me try it, man. I put it on my head and I was like, what? This ain't weigh 50 pounds, man. They got the laughing, man. And we was at a soccer field, man. I bought ice cream for about 1,000 children, man. Me and DeJuan bought ice cream for everybody, man. And man, they started calling us Bubba. Bubba. Hey, Bubba. Bubba, come on, man. I was like, oh man. And I had on all white, right? And everything I had when I went over there, I gave all my clothes away because I had some African clothes made for me, right? So I intentionally gave everything that I wore, that I took over there, I gave all my stuff away, right? So that was a beautiful thing when I was going through the neighborhood. And I was like, that looks like, I gave that to them. And they would pass it down to them, man. And in the morning, sometime I would go walking and I would have food from where we were staying. And people living in these little shanties. And I just knock on the door and give my food to people, you know what I mean? Because I need all that food, you know what I mean? Because people living poor over there, but it's not the poor that we experience over here. It's just, I just want to encourage you guys to go there. I think that would be a good gateway. And the other one, Stevie Wonders is a naturalized citizen. He moved all his family over there last year. In January last year, he was declared a national. He got his citizenship. He's a dual citizenship. He still got his American citizenship, but he got a Canadian along with all his children that moved to Ghana. But before we close out, I definitely want to thank our beautiful technician, Mr. King. He's a beautiful young man. I'm hoping that as long as I'm alive and he's a part of that, I can learn from him, and he also I can give him some things that's going to help his life as he get older to make some good decisions. And that's what Tupac said. They asked Tupac when he was in Rikers Island for an alleged rape that he did not do. They said, Tupac, what do you think your purpose is? And Tupac said, my purpose to be here is to spark the minds of somebody else. And I love that saying. I love that. I love that. I believe my purpose is to give all of me as much as I can to spark all of us to do great things. And always remember, never give what they can't touch. Our beautiful sister, Dr. D, before we close out, would you like to say a few words before we close out?
I just like to say that no matter what situation you are in, just keep going, keep being positive, and spread the word.
Thank you, my sister. Always in closing, I want to make sure that we're engaged in community conversation 101. Day at the Lake, Juneteenth. Black Women Are Divine is upcoming. We have a rites of passage program, urban Boy Scout engagement impact. Also involve dads. We're part of that partnership. Greeting our students at 6 area schools. Black Lives Matter grassroots needs you to come join. Don't be afraid to be Black. You have talents. For our program to grow, we need people to come and be a part. Stop being afraid of being Black and stop being a victim. Stop complaining. I believe we should talk less and do more. Stop complaining. Stop hating. Stop being jealous and do more for one another. So, in closing, hug somebody. Hug a stranger. Say hi to someone. Smile at someone. Please, guys. And again, well, we're working on our schedule every Thursdays and Saturdays. We want to bring you content that is going to lift your spirit, that's going to guide you and encouraging you to do something. We're not going to be a podcast or a platform that's going to be complaining, or are we going to be engaging in just entertainment? We want it to be facts-based, give you food, and give you an opportunity to do something in your community. Meaning, our children, we have a high illiteracy rate in our community. If you know children that you're around that can't read, help them read. We're dealing with the 9th and 10th grade at Southwestern is reading at the 3rd grade level. I'm dealing with some young kids that's 4 and 5 years old that can't read. If you are a person that's retired, you're not retired until you're dead. I don't care if you're 90 or 100 years old. You have a purpose, man. You can open up your house to someone and teach them how to read, to teach them how to write, to teach them how to think, to teach them an understanding about not Christianity, but a healthy understanding about their spirituality. And I love what the sister said. I do this sometimes. Take my shoes off and I hug a tree. I believe in nature. That's why Day at the Lake is so important. We believe in a fishing trip is designed to help get our community back in loving nature, respecting nature, honoring and blessing and taking care of our planet because it's the only planet that we have. All right, so in closing out, again, I want to leave, you want to share, I want to leave my number. Again, my name is Hubert Naeem Roberts. My number is 810-394-4105. My email is mentorroberts@gmail.com. And again, don't be afraid to join Black Lives Matter Grassroots Flint, Michigan. Don't be afraid to be engaged in making changes in Flint, Michigan. All politics is local. Stop crying about this. You know, they arrested Prince Andrew today in the United in England because he a pervert. He a friend of Donald Trump, and they love little children, little girls and little boys, and they want to have sex with them. And again, back to what the sister was saying about being violated. You got historically these devils for thousands of years cannot deal with the beautifulness of a mature, respectful woman or man, and has to be perverted. Because when you have so much money, you have so much power, your thinking becomes perverted that you want to have sex with a child. Huss to the head. To the head. Well, thank you, my brother. Thank you, mister. You did a good job, sis. Now, again, what we want to be working on again, I told you earlier before, you have to be an investor. You have to be talking. We're going to get brochures that we're going to be asking to pass out. All of us are going to get those.